Right. So I appreciate everybody coming out today. My name is Nathan Martinez. I am the Career Experience Team Leader. And so the Career Experience Center is something that's brand new to St. Philip's. It's a brand new, I've been here for I've been at St. Philip's for a little over 3 years as a certified advisor, mostly working within our health and biosciences. But I've been in this new position for about less than a month. So this is still a brand new department, brand new role. And so the intended role is going to be to support faculty, staff, and students to connect with employers, to connect with experiential learning opportunities, and to just make sure that we're not just experiencing them, that we're documenting them as well. And you can always look back on your time here and say, these are all the events that I did, these are all the connections that I made, these are the skills that I acquired, because not all of that is apparent on the transcript, your academic transcript. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to try to be working towards is going to be towards your non-academic transcript that lives within Alamo Experience. And if you all have any questions along the way, definitely feel free, throw them in the chat, raise your hand. This is a small group we got today. So the best thing about small groups is that we can be interactive. We can ask questions, things like that. The main intention, like I said, is to do the career assessment, and then after that, use the results to develop what I'm going to call a career exploration plan. And then not just hey, let's develop a plan, but let's go and deliver on it. What are the steps that we got to take to make those connections and give a little bit more direction in our exploration? Or if we already know where we're going, maybe a little bit more specific guidance in regards to getting more in touch with your intended profession. And so we can utilize all of that. And then the cool thing about it is just the data that's all behind Career Coach, because there's a lot of data behind it, local data, national data. And so we'll go over that in more detail. And then, we'll lay it all out and make sure you'll have a good understanding of, what are the next steps in the career exploration process. And so one of the main things is just understanding the need to prepare. And if you've seen one of my presentations before, you'll see this a lot. And so with this one, this quote, it's not, let's say, like, if you don't sorry, it's not about focusing on the failure. It's focusing on, the need to prepare ahead of time so that we don't encounter those types of failures. Because the lack of preparation is only going to lead to, unfortunately, I mean, you could say the word failure, but there's a lot of different ways, just unsuccessful. And success is measured differently in a lot of different places, just depending on who you're talking to. But at the end of the day, what we mean by being successful is, the intended degree that you were pursuing, you're going to get direct job opportunities from it once all is said and done. I'm just pulling up the chat just in case. And so some of the major issues that are facing college students today could be because of a lack of preparation ahead of time or along the way. One of the major issues is going to be a lack of what's called soft skills. You'll see the word soft skills utilized a lot. So these are the skills that aren't necessarily taught within your technical programs. These are skills that like leadership, teamwork, collaboration, technology. There's what are called the NACE career competencies. And then I'll put that in your NACE career competency. Oh, I'm going to spell competencies wrong. Competencies. And I'll put this link in here because this is a really good resource to review in regards to. So these are the skills that, across the nation, employers are looking for. Just gonna pull this over here. Are you all able to see that as well? And so with this, so the NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So these are all of the college career centers across America that work with all of the employers across America. And so NACE went out to employers and asked, what are the skills that our graduates are lacking? And so these are the results that came back. And this does get updated, I would say every other year. It does get updated every now and then. But right now, these are the main competencies, the soft skills that employers are going to want. And the cool thing about these soft skills is that a lot of them are built into your general education courses, English, philosophy, psychology, things like that. And we do have resources for that, Tamara. And so yeah, we can definitely go more in detail one-on-one to go more into what resources do we have across the campus to support you or those that you are supporting that might need a little bit extra help. And so yeah, definitely good question. And so with these competencies, and that's just the thing too, is that utilizing these skills can be, you can get these skills from a lot of different areas. But like I said, a lot of them are built into your classes, your daily classes, your general education classes. And so the more we understand the skills that are necessary, the more we can pick out that, okay, you know what, I'm already doing this. I've been doing this. And we can really articulate that on a resume or on a cover letter once we're ready to start applying for jobs. Or not feel so intimidated and feeling like, you know what, I already got some of these skills down. Let me go talk to some employers about, you know, how can I utilize this experience towards, you know, job opportunities. And so those are just the very general skills across the board. And then we'll go more in detail in specifics of other skills that each employer and employment type is looking for. Underemployment is also a really big issue. It's just because with underemployment, that means that, say, for you have a degree, you have a position, but like, for example, I have a bachelor's degree, but say I had a job that just the minimum education was a high school diploma. That would be considered underemployment. I have a lot more education that's necessary to be successful in that job that I have. Of course, it is necessary for me to have a bachelor's degree here at this position, but just in general, like, for example, when I first graduated college, I got my degree in psychology. And right out of college, the hardest part was that a lot of the entry level things that I was looking for required like 3-5 years of experience. And whew, all of my experience while I was in college, just it had nothing to do with psychology. I was doing food services, I was doing delivery, I was just doing things that made money because I had needed help paying for college and whatnot, and so I had to work while I was going to college, and it was hard. It was hard to try to find time to do an internship or to do volunteering or things like that. But it's just one of those things where you got to make the time. You got to either find the time or make the time, because at the end of the day, that's your future you're investing in. And then if you wait until you're ready to graduate to start dipping your toes into your profession, you'll definitely end up at the same spot I did when I graduated, where I was having a hard time finding something. And by the time I did find something related to my career field, yeah, that was the case, that it did not require a bachelor's degree. It was very entry level. It was something that I probably should have done maybe my sophomore or junior year of college and work my way up, so that by the time I did get my degree, I already had the initial experience. But again, just goes to show how planning can help dictate the long run of how things are going to work out. And so planning ahead of time, super important. And then major specific career. And so a lot of the times that when students do find a place, about 27%, so this is the national average right now, 27% of college grads have a job that's closely related to their major. And so, like, for example, when I first got my degree, I was still working my part-time jobs in food services and in delivery that had nothing to do with my major. And it's just a matter of, sorry, I was reading the question. When you work at the agency, find employment. Yes, we do have resources and job portals and connections to help you connect with employers. And so, yes, that is definitely something that we can help you do for sure. And so yeah, for example, when I was graduating, so a lot of the times when this happens, the major specific career, it's not aligned, where students are pursuing a degree because they're very interested in that subject, but you know what, they may not have looked into all of the career opportunities that are available within that given field, or there's a million possibilities as to why this happens, but the top factor being lack of preparation or planning, and not necessarily a lack of it, but just kind of like, that's the way I had that picture of the doors in the agenda, because there's so many options to choose from. It's kind of like when you're trying to choose something to watch on Netflix and you just scroll and you scroll and you scroll, and you end up just watching the same thing that you always watch at the end of the day. And so it's just, that happens a lot, even when it even with really important decisions as well, like choosing a career, choosing your major. It's just overwhelming feeling of all these options. I want to make sure I'm choosing the right one. And so that's why I put this picture of the door, because it looks like there's all these options, but there's really one right door that's right for you. But it's all about the preparation that you do ahead of time, the self-exploration, and then utilizing that self-exploration to develop this plan that we're going to go over in a bit. And so don't feel like you have to do it on your own either. That's exactly what my office is here for now. We did have career services resources within advising, academic advising, but that did kind of fall under, other duties as assigned. Advisors, we have, I keep on saying we, advisors have a lot on their plate when it comes to tracking your success, your academic success, making sure you're progressing through your degree plan, you're meeting all the requirements, filling out all the right paperwork, all that good stuff. It's a lot. It takes a lot of time. And unfortunately, the career conversations and the focus of career services does kind of fall to the wayside a little bit. But with the Career Experience Center, we do hope to supplement those resources especially when it comes to things like workshops like we're doing right now. The cool thing about the career workshops is that they all have practical takeaways, things that you can take away with you and utilize to plan for your future. We really lean on our employer partnerships, and we develop those partnerships through places like this organization called Sakuka that I sit on the board for. Sakuka is kind of like NACE. It's all of the college career centers in San Antonio, but it's just in San Antonio and the surrounding area. So there we are at a meeting at UTSA. We had a guest speaker in there. He's a motivational speaker that we're hoping to have come and talk to St. Philip's pretty soon, maybe in a couple of semesters. But yeah, no, we have representation from all over the city. And we get together once a month. Hey, what are y'all doing to help y'all students over there? This is what we're doing over here. And I try to emulate, some of the best ideas that I see from these other universities, and I try to bring them to St. Philip's. And so those are some of the things that we try to do to help enhance y'all's experience while you're here. The same thing with experiential learning opportunities. There's gonna be a really big focus on experiential learning opportunities, enhancing the ones that are already in existence and then developing a lot of new ones. And so just keep an eye out for those, because experiential learning is what it sounds like. It's, just providing opportunities to connect directly with professionals in your field, employers, hiring managers, people that know, what does it take to get hired in your intended profession. And each experiential learning opportunity is intended to help guide your decision. It's not going to be just one event that you're going to go to and it's going to answer all of your problems. It's a combination of events and activities and steps that we'll go over in more detail. But these are just some of the main examples of experiential learning opportunities that you'll see across St. Philip's. This one, I say career exploration because this one is maybe not necessarily an experiential learning example, but it is just something that we do in the office to help you. Like we utilize assessments. We do strategies like informational interviews. There's just working with student organizations. So there's a lot of things that we can do to help you explore. And so that's one of the main things. And that's really the most fun part of it. It can seem the most stressful part, but really exploring all of your opportunities. That's just it. It's all the opportunities that are there at your feet and just going from there. And so that is one of the main things that we're doing today is career exploration and utilizing some of the tools that you already have at your disposal. Field experience. And so these are the ones that you'll see a lot in the degree plans, like internships or practicums, clinicals. These are the hands-on training that you get in the real world workplace. You'll have a supervisor for the semester. You'll have, there's just a set of learning expectations that you should have. And the intention is that, when you're done with your internship, when you're done with your field experience, that it's either going to let you know, okay, for sure, this is the job that I want. Or if you're towards the tail end of your academic plan, the hopes is that, you get hired upon at the place that you were doing your internship at, or the place you were doing your clinicals at, and things like that. And so there's ways that, as long as we're preparing ahead of time, we can have all of our ducks in a row so that by the time we do our field experience, we've already made the connections, we've already had the conversations, we already know exactly what we're going to do. And we know that, if we do all the right steps, we're going to have this job waiting for us by the end of the semester. So field experience, super important. Internships, apprenticeships. We have community-based work study program if you do qualify for work study funds. There's the student engagement grant as well that's available. We'll go over that. I'll forward that before we leave because, yeah, I forgot to put that one in here. But the student engagement grant is super helpful as well. So before we get too deep into the assessment, one of the things that we're going to do is just understand the data that comes behind Career Coach. And so the first part that we want to understand is the LMI and JPA. So LMI stands for Labor Market Information. And so that's pulled from a lot of government sources like ONET, like the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And so this is data from across the nation that gives a lot of very general, well, it gives specific data to specific positions, but it also gives very general data for industries and things like that as well. So they utilize that type of data from those government sources. And then they also utilize data from job posting analytics. And so millions of postings across the nation. These are the top skills that are always mentioned. These are the top things in the resume that they want. And so those are the things that they pull from to help make those get the results in regards to your career matches and things like that. And so they use the national data, but then they also use local data as well, because a lot of the information you'll see in here is regarding employers that are hiring within Bexar County. And so not just employers that are hiring Bexar County, but just, job posting frequencies. There's a lot of other data that's pulled directly from employers within the San Antonio area. And then the cool thing about it is that it doesn't just give you all this career information. It also ties in the Alamo Institutes, the academic programs that we have. So it'll give you the list of careers that you have that you match with, but it'll also list the academic programs that are available through the Alamo colleges that can get you to that career plan. And there's also a timeline to anticipate as we get ready to take the career coach assessment. Of course, we're going to take the assessment, make sure when you're taking the assessment that you're answering as honestly as possible. It's usually the first question that comes to your mind. There's a 6-question and then a 30-question assessment. We're going to do the 30-question assessment just because it's a little bit more, it gives you a little bit more data to work with. But you should really take like maybe less than 2 minutes per question. Maybe even less than that. So we're going to give some time to do it. And after the assessment, so I'll even do the first couple of questions with y'all just to kind of give an example of what I'm talking about. And then we're going to use our results to develop a career exploration plan. And then after we develop that career exploration plan, I'm going to give you some next steps again on how to carry out that plan, make your connections, and give a little bit more guidance in your journey. And so let me go ahead and get this to y'all. I'm going to put this in the chat. Feel free to copy and click over there. Even if like if you're on your phone and you click away from here, I should still be here. Like I don't think it'll make you leave the whole Zoom meeting. But if you're on your desktop, you should just be able to click on the link. And then when we're done, because yeah, like I said, I'll go over some of it. But then when we're done, if for any reason you're not finished, it's okay. You don't have to finish within the time frame like right now, but just at least know where it is, know how to save your results, and then we're going to go from there on how to utilize your results. Because yeah, we're going to go from there on how to utilize your results. And so when you go to the website, it should take you here. And if you ever lose the link, it's just all you got to do is just type in alamo.edu/career coach. All you got to do is type that into your browser and then it'll take you here every time. So we're going to go ahead and take the assessment. We're going to do the standard assessment. Then again, first answers that come to your mind, don't worry. Like, I don't know how to do that yet. This would be like, you had all the training, you had all the experience you need. What would you like to do as a career? And then again, also don't worry about the money. At the end of the day, if you follow your passions, the money will follow. So would I like to build kitchen cabinets? That is not something that I would like to do. I know I should be a handyman, but it's just one of those things that I'm not fond of. Do I like to develop new medicine? Disagree. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Y'all follow along, and then again, just really quick. Once we're done, then we'll go into it, the results. So go ahead and feel free to take your assessment. I'll take it along right with y'all.
You said the 30 question one?
I would do the 31. It takes just a little bit more time, but it gives us more data to work with. Yeah, it's pretty quick to go through. Just like to write books. Ooh, that would be cool. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute myself so y'all are not hearing me talk while y'all are doing y'all thing. So yeah, feel free. We're gonna take a couple minutes. Okay, gonna give it a couple more minutes. Again, if you don't finish, don't worry. You'll still have time to finish it at a later time. And then I'm gonna walk through the process of reviewing your results and how to utilize them in just a second. But again, no rush. Give it a little bit more time. Okay. That should be a good enough time. Again, don't worry if you're not finished. But the main thing too about this test, don't overthink. Don't overthink the answers. Again, the first answer that comes to your head, boom, knock it out and put it down and move on to the next one. Once you get your results, you want to make sure there's a button on the right-hand side that says save my results. This is where you're going to go ahead and create your profile. So if you're already done with the assessment, I'll give you a little bit of time to do that as well. But if you don't finish the assessment before we're done, just keep it open, finish it when we're done. But at the end of it, just make sure you save your results, because yeah, that happens a lot where I'll sit down with the student, then they forgot to save the results, and then we just do it again real quick. But it's super helpful to save your results though, because it's not just your results, but as you're going and reviewing your results, you can save your favorite choices, and you can save a lot of things that you can go back and review at a later time. So yeah, creating a profile is super helpful. And then when you click on save my results, that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to walk you through creating a profile. So once you save your results, you'll notice this is usually the thing towards the very top of your screen. These are your top 3 traits, and everybody's is going to be a little bit different. But the intention is, it's not saying, okay, you're a social person, so you need to do things that have social, like you need to socially interact with things, with people. Enterprising, oh, then you need to be an entrepreneur. We're not taking these traits as literal interpretations. These are based off of what's called Holland's Code. And so each trait does have a specific set of careers that they typically align with based off of their personality. And so, but again, at the end of the day, this isn't saying, if you ended up with conventional, so these are your top 3. So number 1, number 2, number 3. If you ended up with conventional being your top 1, it doesn't mean that, you have to be a biostatistician or a data administrator. It just means that, these are the types of careers that the people with conventional traits typically like to have. And so it'll give you some information about some of the characteristics of that trait. And then it'll give the results as we scroll down a little bit more is going to give us more information about how that translates into the different academic opportunities that are there and whatnot. And so again, don't feel the need to have to write every one of these things down. This is something that you could just take a screenshot, or we'll get you the recording of this at the end of the once it's uploaded. But there's a lot of information about Holland's Code. So the cool thing to do, so if, say, for example, you got conventional, enterprising, and social, then your 3 letters would be CES. And then that's a really good Google thing to do with Google. When it comes to, like, you do Holland's Code and you do your 3 letters, and then you should see some results and some additional research that you can do aside from what we're talking about today. I work with Alamo Council on Government. I do work with, so I am going to be working with a lot of partners within St. Philip's and outside of St. Philip's as well. And so yeah, that's definitely going to be the Alamo workforce and the Alamo Council. Those are going to be ones that are definitely going to be that we're going to work with. All right. And so over here, once you scroll down a little bit, you'll see your top career matches, and they're based off of they're put in order based off of percentage matched with your answers. And so 100% match, yeah, definitely make sure you're taking a look at that. When you click it on, it's going to break it down by industry. So that's what you're seeing at first. So it's going to break it down by industry at first. When you click it, it's going to give you some of the top careers within each industry based off of, again, what's matched with your assessment. You should still be able to see your results without having to sign up, but if you wanted to go back and review your results later, that's where you would need to have to create a profile. And you don't have to have Alamo College. You don't have to use your Alamo College's information or banner ID and things like that. I believe you can also just use your personal information as well. Just to yeah, because this tool is not just for Alamo College students. This tool is for the entire community. And so yeah, it's not mandatory to save your results, but if you wanted to go back and review at a later time, you can. Or you saw how quick it was to do the assessment. It's all, you can always do the assessment again as well after that. Good question. Okay, and so say for example, so 99% for teaching and training. So I want to see that area within education and training. And so when you go within the area, this is where we start diving a little bit deeper into the specific careers that are available. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do this. We can just go down the list one by one. If you already know that, you know what, the highest I'm going to get is just a bachelor's, the highest I'm shooting for is just a bachelor's degree right now, or the highest I'm shooting for is just an associate's degree right now, you can filter it out that way as well. But I usually suggest to just leave all of them on because you want to see all of the opportunities that are available to you. And so just as an example, I'm going to, and for the, it gives you a brief overview of what to expect, a quick description, median salary, typical entry level education. That's the brief overview. But when you actually click on it, it goes into more detail about not just the median salary, but you know, how many jobs are being posted, what type of programs are available throughout the Alamo colleges that you can utilize to get into these career fields. And so that's just the general overview. If you see these tabs that are up here towards the top, each of them has a lot of good information with them as well. So again, this is just one example. Yeah, you can, it's like a rabbit hole though, because once you find one career and you start exploring it, it kind of leads into more and more information to explore. So when you get into the about section, this is really detailed. It's going to give you a breakdown of the daily tasks for that given career, for that given job. And it can be, some of these lists can be pretty extensive because again, these are tasks, like when you look at a job posting online and it says job duties and it'll list out all these different jobs. So that's exactly what this is coming from. This pulls data from all of those job postings, and these are all of the daily tasks or daily or like the responsibilities that you'll see from these careers. And the way to utilize this list is to try to go down the list and see, you know, what are some opportunities that, you know, I can already get this experience, whether it be directly, like say, for example, if I did want to become a foreign language teacher, post-secondary teacher, I'm looking through this list and I'm saying, okay, advise student on academic and vocational curricula. I know for me, that's different because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But say, you know, I'm my first semester of college. Again, like I mentioned, all my experience right now is in customer service. Trying to see what I can pull out of here. Well, of course, yeah, that's necessary. Getting good grades and whatnot. Conduct research in a particular field of knowledge. And so that's where, see, that's where I'm just, where exactly how you utilize the list. You kind of go through the list and you pick out something that like, oh, that seems really interesting, conduct research. And so undergraduate research is definitely an experiential learning opportunity. But the crazy thing about them is that they're not going to present themselves to you a lot of the times. A lot of the times, experiential learning opportunities are something that you develop with, say, a faculty or an employer based off of just, you know, conversations, building a professional relationship. And again, we're going to show you some of those strategies on how to do that in a bit. But this is just kind of like the guiding point where we can go down the list and try to pick out, okay, I want to try to do that before I graduate. I want to definitely try to do that before I graduate. I want to try to do that before I graduate. And so this is a good starting point when it comes to what are some of the types of experiences that I should be looking out for. What are the types of skills that I should be trying to attain along the way. And it'll also give you a national education attainment level. So for this position, majority of the people who have this position have a doctorate degree or more. And so if the doctorate degree isn't something that I was shooting for, then this might not be something that, you know, would be on my list of top choices. But as you can see, it's not all of them. There are some with a master's degree. There's a few with just a bachelor's degree. And so again, it just really depends on the specific level that you want to get with this one, because this one, you can either be like an elementary teacher, you could be a high school teacher, you could be a college professor, and the range of degree requirements definitely varies. And so this one's probably surveying a lot of college and university type of positions versus elementary and high school type of positions. And then it'll also give you skills that employers are asking for. So these, when it says employers, these are employers within Bexar County. And then we're going to go look in just a second to see the specific employers that are posting as well. So again, when you click on the about section, That's a lot of information all right there, but that's exactly how we plan to utilize it. Let me pull up that's exactly how we plan to utilize it. So we just talked to develop our, and so we're going to use those daily tasks and all those other resources to develop a list, a contact list. I would usually start with faculty first, just because they're more readily accessible. As a student, it's easier to connect with a faculty member than it would be to reach out to an employer without any type of referral process or anything like that. But again, we're going to go over some resources on how to make that not as intimidating, because that's something that you can do as well. So daily tasks, if you click over here on wages, this is going to give you a projection of how the salary has either been raising or decreasing over a period of time. So this can give you a good idea of, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be planning for a future in a career that, we see that line dipping down. If we see that line dipping down and it's on a projection to just continue to go down, that this position required a doctorate degree. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. And so if this position was on its way down with wages, that might not be something that I want to put my time and my effort into. But as you can see, this is going up. This is going up into the six figure range. And so again, that's just based on, how much experience do you have over time? Because you want to plan in the long run. Like, when I first start out versus when I'm, I've been established in my career. So wages is always super important to review. And again, this is in the Bexar County area. Employment, so job postings. You can see the history of job postings with each individual job that's available that you click through. And again, you kind of want to try to look for patterns. You either want to look, if you see this one's kind of sporadic, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But again, kind of similar to what I was talking about the wages. If you see something that's just constantly like on the way down, that might not be something that we want to shoot for. Because again, education, like I said, is a lot of time, a lot of money, and we want to make sure it's all well worth it at the end. And so it doesn't just give you the monthly job postings, it gives you the companies that are posting in San Antonio as well. So this, so on top of developing a list of faculty that you want to work with, a faculty that you want to reach out to, getting a count of these companies can let you know, okay, if we want to start doing research and we want to start reaching out to companies in general, this would be a good starting point rather than, going into Google and searching, like, say I wanted to be a foreign languages teacher and then going to Google foreign language jobs, San Antonio. I mean, all of that work, all of that data, that's already all in here. So no need to continue to go through a lot of multiple places for this data, because that's exactly what Career Coach is for. It puts it all in one place for you. Okay, I'm sorry, I had these numbers different. So this isn't the projection. This is the wages based off of how long you've been in a position. So when you're starting out, brand new entry-level positions within education in this field, the average is about 29,000. But as you get more and more experience, I think the top range that you're seeing is an average about 100,000. So that's the wages. This is the projection. This is the employment projection. And so these are the ones that we definitely want to see on the up over time, just because, yeah, if it's on the up, that just means that over time it's going to continue to go up. And by the time we're ready, there should be more jobs available than there would be at this point right now. And then as you scroll down a little bit more, it'll give you top jobs posted, top titles posted within that given field. And so just to get a little bit more specific when you're doing your research, it'll get a little bit more specific when you're doing your research, especially when it comes to employers, professionals in the field that you might want to connect with already. LinkedIn is a really good resource to utilize in this sense. When you're looking for specific job titles, looking for people with specific job titles. And it can be a little awkward at first reaching out, but the worst they could say is, no, I'm sorry, I don't have enough time. And or yeah, and that's about it. That's about the worst thing that could happen. And so don't be intimidated reaching out to employers. Uh, we'll go over it. We'll go over that, some strategies on how to do that in just a minute. And then another cool resource is the Similar Careers, which is exactly what it sounds like. Rather than you're interested in that field in general, but maybe not that specific one that it matched you with. And so now that we can look at the similar careers, and we can take a look at very similar data for different careers within that same area. And then on the last thing on here is we can look at live job postings from Indeed. The way we utilize this is, like, say, for example, we do want to be a teacher and we want to see exactly what's being posted out there already. I want to be a Spanish teacher. So you know what, let me look at this job posting. I'm going to look at the description, because sometimes we don't even, a lot of times, actually, a lot of times students don't even look at these job postings because they assume, you know what, I'm not even anywhere close to that. I just started, or I'm still figuring it out. I don't know what I'm doing. But looking at job postings can give you a good sense of direction, especially when they have a list of, what are the qualifications, what are the skills necessary, is there any additional training that or certifications that are necessary ahead of time before even applying. So it does provide a sense of guidance, reviewing these job opportunities that are out there already. Even though we might not be ready for them now, it's going to give us information so that we are ready by the time we get our degree. And then, so that is utilizing Career Coach. That's the data within Career Coach. It's a lot, I know. But again, it's all intended to help develop our career exploration plan. And don't feel like you have to memorize everything I just said. Again, this is recorded. We can always go back and you can watch through it as you need to. But those were all of the data pieces that I was mentioning. So again, with the daily tasks, picking and pulling examples that you would like to experience along the way, trying to find different instances of ways to experience those tasks. Looking at the national educational attainment level, so what degree am I shooting for at this point? Am I shooting for a doctorate? Am I shooting for a bachelor's? Am I shooting for a master's? Because at the end of the day, like, for example, with my degree in psychology, I was told so many times that, get the degree, you'll get the job, get the degree, you'll get the job. And I got my degree, and like I said, the entry level jobs needed 3 to 5 years experience or a master's degree. And so had I had that planned ahead of time, like right from the beginning, that, what, as soon as I'm done with my bachelor's, I'm going to push towards a master's, then yeah, I mean, it just helps. It helps to plan. So utilizing all this data, one of the first things that we want to do, like I mentioned, is develop a list of faculty in matched areas. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Let me go over overview. Like, so for example, like I want to take a look at the paralegal studies. It's like I'm interested in law. And so I want to connect with some law professors across the Alamo colleges. And as we can see, there is the program. There it is. Click on the paralegal program, click on program info, and it should take you over to the actual degree plan. And this is where it does get a little bit tricky, because just depending on which college it's at, just trying to find that actual department. The easiest way to find the department at each college is if you go to our website's menu, academics, and then find your program. In this example, we already have the name of the program, and so we can kind of just look it up. Paralegal studies. Because each campus will have its own website, and then we'll all have the same process. Paralegal studies. And then there we have the contact information for whichever program that we want to reach out to. And then when we're reaching out, and so that's how we develop contacts with faculty. based off of, trying to do some career exploration, even if it, say, for example, you were interested in law, you were interested in paralegal studies, reaching out this way is a good way to at least get a sense of what's available, and talking to faculty is super, super helpful. I can't tell you how helpful it is working with faculty, because a lot of the times, especially for our technical programs, they are either professionals in the field at that moment, or they have been professionals in the field and they still have their connections with the professionals in the field at the moment. And so it's super, super helpful connecting with faculty whenever you can. And then the way we would develop a list for employers is when we go into the employment section, and then we look at the companies posting a job in whatever job that we're looking at that moment. So this will always change up just depending on what job you're looking at, but this is a good way to get an idea of, I want this job. This is the company that's typically posting these types of jobs. And so it would be a really good strategy to reach out to usually their human resources office. They're usually called either human resources specialists, human resources managers, or talent acquisition managers. Those are the typical people that you want to talk to within human resources, because they're the ones who, they're the ones reviewing resumes all day. They're the ones setting up interviews and watching people go through the hiring process, and then seeing, okay, out of these hundreds of people that applied, this is the one that got through. And they see that happen so many times that they have the best sense of, this is what it takes to get hired at our company. And so working with these human resources professionals, these talent acquisition managers, recruiters. So these are usually the recruiters that come to campus when we are on campus, and these are the ones that come to our career fairs and things like that. So connecting with them is super, super helpful, and utilizing them as a source of knowledge as you prepare and go through your academic journey. You also want to, because you're going to end up with a lot of results. One of the things I always suggest for students to kind of narrow it down a little bit is to get your top 3 choices. Get your top 3 choices, and then really start. That's when you want to start diving deep into all that data that I was talking about. Because if you dive deep into all the data for every single one that you look at, it can get overwhelming, and you can burn yourself out. And so what you want to do is find your top 3. So that should probably be number 1, actually. So number 2, push that to number 1. Choose your top 3 careers. And when I say top 3 careers, I'm talking about anything like, so law, teachers, things like that. So this is the industry, this is the field, and then within the field, you'll find the specific careers. And so you want to find at least 3 that are your favorite, based off of whatever or data that you're utilizing. And then from there, that's where you really want to start diving in with the wages and the tasks and all that other details that I was just mentioning a minute ago. Excuse me. And so by the time we're done reviewing the academic programs, we should have at least a couple of faculty, or at least a couple of academic programs to reach out to. And the same thing on the employer side. Once we're done reviewing the data, we should have at least a handful of employers to reach out to in each given career choice that we're making. And then from that point, we're going to conduct what are called informational interviews. Let me see if I can share a file for this one, because informational interviews, super, super helpful. Yeah, there it goes. So I went ahead in the chat. I included this document, so feel free to pull that out, save that for your references or for your needs. Informational interviews, it's exactly like an interview when you are being interviewed, but instead of you being interviewed, you're the one doing the interviewing. And so you're going to the professionals, you're going to these faculty, and with the faculty, you might need to reword some of this a little bit. Or if they have experience in the field, a lot of these would fit pretty well. My favorite one usually is, what is this? This is usually my favorite question. knowing what you do now, is there something that you would have done differently starting out? Because you'll get people's regrets. You'll see, I wish I would have done this. It would have been so much easier if I did that. And that's a really good, helpful guidance when it comes to, planning out your own timeline of things and how it's going to work out. And then at the end of it, say you've already reached, or at the end of each informational interview, this is always a really important question as well, just to help expand your network. Do you know someone else doing this kind of work that I can talk to? That referral is more helpful than cold calling. I say cold calling by, like, you don't know the person, but you found their name in a directory, and so you're reaching out. That's cold calling. But if you're referred, it does provide a little bit more, like, say, like I refer you to somebody from Randolph Brooks, and like, hey, his name's Glenn. Hey, Glenn, I got somebody from I got Tamara here that's really interested in the position. These are the types of opportunities she's looking out for. That's a handoff, a referral. That's one of the things that I try to do whenever I can. Um, but at the end of the day, that's not always possible. And so it's just a matter of developing those lists. So first off, yeah, developing your top 3 careers, developing those list of contacts that we want to reach out to. And then from there, once we do find people that are willing to, talk with us, that's when we start conducting our informational interviews. And the informational interviews are going to be the ones that really help guide us towards, a lot of data, a lot of information that you may not see on websites, a lot of information that you might not get in a workshop. So super, super helpful. And it's a really good starting point in exploring your opportunities, is conducting informational interviews. And then once you've conducted your informational interviews, one of the things is following up. You always want to follow up with either, right now, it'll probably be best to follow up with a certified advisor, because right now I'm just a one-man show. And so I don't know if I'll be able to do individual appointments with 13,000 students. But I'm definitely here to help whenever I can, to supplement their support, to support them. But your certified advisors here at St. Philip's also have received career training. So they have the training to have these career discussions with you, especially if it's within like a similar field that you're already in right now. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about something that they're not familiar with, I mean, we all, it happened to me a lot where, like, say, because I normally work with nursing students, but then sometimes I might get a student that, like, what, I don't want to do nursing anymore. I'm thinking about automotive. And I mean, I know the gist of automotive, but I would normally refer to the specialists of that degree plan. And so we all work with each other. We all help each other out to make sure that students are supported. But it's just all about continuing the conversation. That would be the next step. After you've talked to your professors, after you talk to the professionals, you want to kind of bring all that to your advisor and talk it out to see, what do they think is going to be the best suggestion, next steps. And once you're done with the informational interviews, that doesn't mean, it's the end. You've already explored everything you can explore. That's really just laying out the groundwork for extra work. Well, not, I don't want to say work, but it's laying out the groundwork for extra things that you could be doing along the way. Because I believe that's even one of the informational interview questions, is just I forgot exactly. Yeah, what exactly it, I forgot exactly the wording for it, but I know that's one of the questions is, what can I be doing now so that by the time I'm ready to graduate, that I already have all the experience that I need. I have the skills that you want. And so informational interviews is just the starting point. Once you start working with these employers, they're going to let you know, okay, well, you should really do X, Y, and Z by the time you graduate. And then from there, you have some additional tasks to work off of. And again, it's just, this is the hardest part, because nobody's going to drive you to do it. Nobody's going to tell you to do it. This is something that you have to drive yourself to do, which you're already doing by showing up here today. So I appreciate that. So if you are looking for additional opportunities to connect on campus, we do have some events coming up through March and April. If you want to take a screenshot, feel free. Not all of this stuff is ready like set up in Alamo Experience yet, but these are things that are going to be coming. So make sure just to save the date on some of these. The advanced manufacturing. So we have 2 career fairs. This career fair in March is going to be specifically for students from the advanced manufacturing and logistics programs. So if you're not a part of that, I would strongly suggest to keep an eye out for this one instead. This is how to be a competitive candidate. This is going to be a presentation from the vice president of his name is Glenn. He's from Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Super helpful. He's the champion when it comes to connecting students with employment opportunities and preparing them for employment opportunities. So he's a really great guy. A lot of information to share. So yeah, definitely this could be a really good one to prepare to attend. Prepare for the career fair, and the one after the career fair you can still attend even if you don't do the career fair, because we are going to have another career fair, but this one's going to be a general one in April. And so this one is going to be across college. So we're partnering with all the other sister colleges that we have in the Alamo colleges, and we're going to do a part-time / seasonal career fair. But we're really trying to bring in opportunities that are more professional, things that don't require a certification or a degree, but it's still connected to different fields, right? I mean, there'll still be things like HEB and places like that offer the part-time and seasonal summer jobs, but we're really trying to focus in on jobs that are tied to your career. And so definitely feel free to keep an eye out for these. Once these are solidified, these are going to be going out through email. And unfortunately, yeah, that's the only way that we got right now is just email. So I appreciate y'all checking y'all's emails and clicking on them and actually going through the process of attending these events. Because yeah, they're super helpful. So these are the upcoming events that we have. And so that's the intention, is that once we're done with the initial planning and the process, to continue with that engagement with faculty, continue that engagement with employers, up until the point you're in the position that you want to be. And even then, once you're in the position that you want to be, at that point, you'll still be collaborating with a lot of different people from a lot of different areas, just depending on what you're doing. And so it's just any opportunity that you can to do professional speaking or like career fairs, those are good opportunities to practice your professional speech, just because a lot of the times they're going to be the ones, like I said, the employees that are out there conducting the hiring process and whatnot. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my contact info. That was the last one. And so yes, that is the bulk of the process. I know I did a lot of talking, and I hope y'all were able to follow along with the assessment and how to utilize that. And then once this gets uploaded, like I said, I'll go ahead and forward this off to y'all, just to make sure that you don't feel like you have to, like, oh, you know what, I forgot what he said. You can always go back and review it. If you did have any questions, if you wanted to follow up, I know some of y'all had some specific questions about connecting with employers or being referred, or job placement type of questions. Definitely feel free to reach out to me individually, and we can talk it out and see what options that we have to get you connected. And so that's going to be my direct desk number, and that's going to be my email address as well. I am housed at the Martin Luther King campus. Well, I'm actually housed at my house right now, but once I go back to campus, that's where I'll be. I'll be at the Martin Luther King campus in the Southern Learning Center, room 102. But in the meantime, I am readily available whenever I can be.